Good morning, everyone. A rather magnificent start, wasn't it? A land of hope and glory. Welcome all of you, family, friends, members of RSL. Welcome all of you. Here we come to remember and celebrate the life of Lionel Cedric Mastello. We come with our various memories. We've been stirring up our memories of him these past days, no doubt. Recalling some of the times that we had together, sharing those times with others. We come now for the sake of his family, to assure them that they're not alone. We come for wife Madeleine. We come for children, two of them, Rodney and Penny, the dog. I know you must have been thinking, two of them? Is there one I don't know about? Yeah, but Penny the dog. We come for grandchildren, in that special bond and love that grandchildren have with grandparents, Shane and Mark, and great-grandchildren, Matteo and Sienna. Today we remember so many of the siblings. He was part of a large family. We will think of the siblings today, many of whom are no longer with us, of course. But this is a day when you stir up memories, and you remember, as we say in Scotland, auld lang syne, old timesakes, the times that you were together, perhaps when he was a boy, with Vonnie, Lenore, Barry, Paul, Carmel, Trevor, Malcolm, Maria. Some of them will go back and remember times in childhood with parents, Yvonne and Frank. It's incredible the kind of memories that get stirred up at times like this. Out of nowhere, some memory just cuts right across you. Something you haven't thought of in decades comes back as fresh as a daisy. I always hope you're with someone when that happens and you can turn to them and say, "You'll never guess what I've just remembered, what I've just recalled. Do you remember that time when?" And you can share it with them and see the wonder in their face as well as they recall this. We come to celebrate Lionel's life. As we say in Australia, he's had a good innings, 92. That's a good score, 92. So we come with much to celebrate, and we celebrate his life. But even as we come to celebrate someone's life, we still do it with tears in our eyes because we're human. It's just the way it is. We come celebrating someone's life, remembering those times, places, faces, happy occasions, and we might well laugh together as we recall, and yet have tears rolling down our face, because we can do both, and even at the same time. Lionel was born in Leichhardt, Sydney, 11th of September, 1929. One of 8 children. Vonnie, Lenore, Barry, Paul, Carmel, Trevor, Malcolm, Maria. They lived at various addresses. And when I mention these, this will bring back some memories to those of you who go back to these early years. St. Peter's, Croydon, and also 7 different addresses in 1 year. There may have been a bit of midnight flitting. Lionel went to school in Sydney, and after leaving school took up an apprentice on boiler and steam trains. That's a blast from the past as well, isn't it? He worked his trade at Kernel Oil Refinery, Clyde Refinery, and others. And after his apprenticeship, he joined the Army, 1951, trained at Holdsworthy, saw service in Korea and Japan, but more of that from the RSL and their tribute later on this morning. Lionel worked on some of the constructions, the likes of the Snowy Mountains, Australia Square, and even Centre Point Tower. He could look at the tower and say, "I built that." He worked on HMAS Vampire, ship's boilers. He worked on refineries outside New South Wales even, going as far as Queensland. He became a welding supervisor of girt welders, a precision type of welding. He worked as far away as halfway to Scotland, Perth, It really is about halfway, isn't it? Demonstrating how to do this girt welding, this precision welding. And he retired back in 1983-84. When I'm visiting families, I always have a favourite question, and I look forward to this question so much when I'm kind of building up to ask it, and I can feel it rising up within me, kind of butterflies in my stomach as I go to ask it. I take a good breath and then say, how did Lionel meet Madeline? And I always love the question, and I get some of the most fabulous answers, just the best answers. Some of them are just incredible, especially from the war years. Lionel met Madeline at Ashton. This is how this generation all met. So normally, even for this generation, I don't say, where did you meet? I usually say, at which dance did you meet? How did you know? Well, of course I knew. You all met at a dance. If you didn't meet at a dance, you met at the tennis courts. After that, I've got nothing. But they met at Ashtonfield Town Hall dance, back in the days when people used to meet face to face and not online. Lionel was there with his sister, and Madeline, well, she wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't her night to go to the dances or that dance. But as Cupid would have it, bringing the two together, there she was and there he was. They met. He would later take her to the dances. This takes you back as well. He would later take her to the dances in the sidecar of his motorbike. Those were the days, eh? They were married, church in Campsie, and recently celebrated their 68th wedding anniversary. Absolutely fabulous. What a life together. 68 years. We offer you our sincere condolences today and can hardly imagine what it's like for you today. But we're here with you. We're here with you. Initially, back in the days when people would start out with nothing, they started out with nothing. Initially lived with her brother before getting their own place. Lionel built a garage, and that was the start of their dream, to build their own home. Living in the garage until the rest was built. Then they moved to Greenacre, 312 Roberts Road until 1985. Then there was the move to 6th Avenue, Toukley. I'm sure you'll all remember this. I think probably most of you lived there. 6th Avenue, Toukley, where there was an incredible number of the Mastello clan all living, either in the avenue or around the corner. But you were all in one place, so they should have maybe called the place Mastello Place, Toukley. They moved to the present address back in 1986. A lovely property. Lionel and Madeline had one child, Rod, and went on to have further joy with grandchildren and that kind of life and love. Shane with Sarah and Mark, and further joy with great-grandchildren, Matteo and Sienna. Lionel had various interests in life. Times were tough, really tough. So shooting, hunting rabbits wasn't just game, it was food. So he would go off and do some hunter-gathering as he would shoot rabbit for the family to eat. He also played, of course, tennis. He danced. He played table tennis. He enjoyed cycling and motorbiking. Motorcycling, I think he was 90 when he lost his motorcycle license, when it was taken away from him. And he wasn't happy. He enjoyed magic and illusions. He enjoyed dancing with the likes of the Gaiety Players and the Singalettes. He was with them for some 20 years, entertaining residents of nursing homes. What a lovely thing to have done. What a happy thing to have brought to a nursing home. He enjoyed reading, and of course there was his shed where he just lived. He more or less lived in his shed. It was there that he built all sorts of goodies, including toy cars. Is that photograph in the? There's a fabulous small car that he made. A wonderful piece, I hope it's in the pictures, a wonderful piece that he built for the children, grandchildren. And he was very, very skilled, very talented at what he could make for the children and grandchildren. He cooked, and even took courses in cooking. There we are, gentlemen. There's the challenge. His health had been failing him. So it's not unusual for us at this stage to feel, along with our grief, some relief for him that his suffering is over. And I know it's hard to feel relief for someone because we kind of feel guilty, but it's human, it's loving and compassionate to feel relief for someone that their suffering is over. Others will speak here, and due to time restrictions, others will speak back at the home at 50 Weber Road, YE, where you're invited to join the family afterwards. Others then that are going to say a few words. Rod, you ready? Come on then. We're very grateful to you, Rod. Thank you.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It's very good to see all these friends and family. And Dad was a very modest person. He never used to boast about anything, but as you all know, he was there for everyone, doing his things. And I won't let you down, Dad. When we were doing the things to set up for you, I dropped one of your trains and broke it, so now it's up to Shane to fix what I break, because normally I'd be breaking things and Dad would be fixing things. And it was, Rodney, if you want to help me, please don't help. Anyway, once again, thank you all for coming. It's very nice to see everybody. And he was a fabulous dad, he really was. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rod. I forgot to mention that you were Mr. Breakit.
Yeah, that's great. You got it? I'll break it.
Yeah, I know. He was showing me some of the things that he'd actually broken. People often show me things that they've made. He could show me things that he's broken. Yvonne, you're coming to speak on behalf of Mark. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you. They were beautiful words. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Before I start, I'd just like to introduce a personal note of how much Uncle Lionel meant to me. He was a fabulous uncle, and he made all the difference to my life and to my mother Marcia's life. As I was growing up, he adored her, and we adored him back. So thank you, Uncle Lionel. I have here a beautiful tribute from Uncle Lionel's grandson, Mark, and I'll read it to you now. Thank you so much for asking me to do this. Mark says, I felt this day might be a little harder than it was. However, on reflection, I feel I'm less upset than I expected, largely due to the fact that when I sit here thinking about your life, I think it defines the term a life well lived, and 92 years of a life well lived at that. You are probably my one and only true idol. You grew up in conditions worse than most of us can imagine, part of a large immigrant family, during the Depression, on the lead up to a world war. In a country that mistreated people like you for no good reason. You had every reason to be bitter. Yet from early on you exemplified what hard work is and the power that we can wield over our destiny. Amazingly, you went on to fight on behalf of this very country and risked your life in war. After that, the list of things you accomplished and people you helped is too exhaustive, and I wouldn't even know the length of it, because you were always most humble and never sought credit for anything you did. You never complained or sought out help for anything either. Many of us now know about the drowning kid that you saved in a flood, only because you finally shared that detail decades after the fact. We know you forged out a nice retirement for yourself by busting your guts tenaciously at a job you were talented at. You did, though, have a knack for being talented at everything you did. Then, in that deserved retirement, we know that you were the glue of many communities, be it dancing groups, cycling, tennis, or any others. You were always the main character, organising things and making them happen. You never understood laziness, complacency, or wasting your time. If I could achieve even half of what you have, then when my time is up, I'll be happy. There's never exactly the right time to say goodbye. Though I'll argue your goodbye was about as moving and fitting as I can imagine. A goodbye that brought me to tears. Shortly before 11 a.m. on Remembrance Day, you exhaled your last breath. And for the final time, things fell silent. As 11 o'clock arrived, you got to observe one last-minute silence through the last post, with Dad holding your hand. Rest in peace, Pop. I can't picture a person more deserving. Love, Mark. Thank you.
It's always a privilege to hear from family as they share with us at a time like this, and it's often so personal and so from the heart and from a broken heart and through tears, and we're so very grateful to you for sharing this with us. Bob, where are you, Bob? Bob Brooks is coming to say a few words. Bobby Brooks.
Good day, friends, family, Madeline particularly, Rodney. I came into Lionel's life when he was probably in his 70s, I suppose, and that was at tennis. And as we heard Mark's words, he was an organiser. He organised tennis one day a week, and it was always well done. And at Christmas time, which we were just talking about a few moments ago, he organised the Christmas get-together, which was always at the tennis courts. And it has become a tradition, and we always have our commemoration of Christmas time at the tennis courts. And that was what Lionel started. I remember one day we were playing, and he wasn't looking too grand. And we managed to get him to lie down, and we eventually got an ambulance to him. He recovered that time. But it was a frightening experience for us because we didn't know quite what was going to happen. But he recovered, as per usual. And then I live in a village at near Lake Marmora, and he brought his Gaiety group along with Madeline. And of course, you don't have a dance floor too often in these places, but Lionel being Lionel, he'd constructed a portable dance floor. So they were able to tap dance, and it sounded fabulous, it really was. And the professionalism of these people was just a delight to see, and the entertainment was wonderful. And they must have had many, many happy times in nursing homes and retirement villages and wherever else they went. Lionel loved his music, and that became obvious because at my village there's two ladies sitting just outside there who we persuaded to come along and give some dancing lessons. And there's a few people here who came along and danced and were taught dances which we never even knew existed. And Would we learn how to do them? Yes, we did. The waltz, the quick step, they were straightforward. But then there were many others, which I don't know whether I can even remember now, but Lionel and Madeline were enthusiastic as ever, because as you heard, Lionel very much liked his dancing and his singing and his music. And that was all to the good. But going back before I met Lionel, I found out by researching with people, as we heard, he's a very keen cyclist, an organiser who took people cycling around the Central Coast. But then he became ambitious, and he had if you've been in that workshop, if you're going to 50 Weber Avenue, afterwards, go and have a look at the workshop. He could have built anything in there. When I walked in, I was just flabbergasted. I mean, I've got a screwdriver and a hammer, I think. That's all my tools, but there was a complete workshop there. What he did, he actually constructed a trailer to take all the cycling club's bicycles on the trailer. And every position was marked for the individual. You had your own place for your bike, which is remarkable when you think about it. He made it. And then when he'd made it, what did they do? Well, no point in sitting at home. They went to Queensland. They went to Canberra 2 or 3 times and rode round Lake Burley Griffith, no doubt, and other places all round. And there's a lady here, sitting here, who's come all the way down from Wingham, and I'm so privileged to see her, and I'm going to acknowledge her, Pauline, because Pauline and Lionel and Madeline were great friends. And Pauline joined and went with the cycling group all over the place. If you want to know anything more about the cycling group and where they went, just ask Pauline, and she'll be only too pleased to tell you. It's been a privilege to tell you about these little things, about this man. We had something in common. I served a few years in the British Air Force before I came to Australia, and Lionel and I hit it off, I think, because of our service careers. And I always found his company a pleasure. It was always pleasing to be with him on every occasion and to have a great conversation, have a great game of tennis, or to try and emulate their expertise in dancing, which we could never do. So thank you, Lionel, for the privilege of knowing you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the privilege of being able to tell you something about my experience with Lionel.
We're very grateful to you, Bob. Thank you for those time together in Lionel's time in the military. We now hear of this through the terrific tribute that will be played by the RSL. Welcome the RSL. And Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, my name is Tom Hobbs. I'm a committee man of the Tukli RSL sub-branch. Their bodies are buried in peace and their name liveth for evermore. While we are gathered here today to mourn the loss of a loved one and to say goodbye, we are also reflecting on the price young men and women paid in the service of the nation to achieve victory over our enemies. In a time of conflict and war, their courage and sacrifice would set an example to others who have followed in their footsteps. Today we say farewell to 2400440 Private Lionel Cedric Mastello, who joined the Australian Regular Army Special Reserve on the 10th of July 1951, and after his initial corps training, he was transferred to the Reinforcement Special Force on the 12th of November 1951. Lionel was subsequently posted to the 3rd Battalion Royal Australian Infantry Corps and was deployed to Japan on the 14th of November 1951 and then to Korea the 16th of December 1951 to December the 15th, 1952 and returned to Japan on the 16th of December 1953, and in due course he returned to Australia and was subsequently honourably discharged. Lionel's time in Korea was a difficult period as the military activity flowed and depending on what additional enemy troops were encountered, and the weather was varied greatly. It is recorded in the annals of history the horrendous conditions they served in, but they survived and many were able to live a fruitful life. He is entitled to wear the medals you see here today. The Tuglaoshal sub-branch would like to convey their deepest condolences to Lionel's family and friends who left to mourn him. O valiant heart, to your glory came through dust of conflict and through battle flame. Tranquil you lie, your knightly virtue proved, your memory hallowed in the land you loved. The hour has come to rest. This poppy, an emblem of sacrifice, the symbol of life offered in the service of one's country, is a link between our comrade and us who remain. We place it here in remembrance. All those with poppies, please come forward and place your poppy. Would you please be upstanding so we may observe a few minutes silence in memory of our comrade? And please remain standing for the last post, the Ode and Reveille.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Please be seated. Excuse me. I will now ask Committee Man Mr. Michael Humphreys to present the national flag to Rodney. Thank you. That concludes the RSL service.
Thank you, Tom, and members of the RSL. We take a moment now to further celebrate Lionel's life. We celebrate his life in picture down through the years, and this will certainly stir up many a memory. Hopefully also it stirs up some warmth in your hearts, something of Lionel's life then in picture.
You must remember this, a kiss is just a kiss, a sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs never out of date, hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman need man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. And love songs never out of date, hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate, that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're really saying I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than I never knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
On behalf of us all, thank you to the family for going into the photo albums and selecting those to share with us today. We're very grateful to you. We now have a touching moment, quite literally in more ways than one, a touching moment as the family place their flower on the casket. You're welcome to come and do that now.
Tell me, are
other family members would like to come forward, there's plenty of flowers. Would anyone else like to come forward?
May I always listen to the anniversary waltz with you. Tell me I may always dance the anniversary waltz with you. Tell me this is real romance, an anniversary dream come true. Let this be the anthem to our future years, to millions of smiles and a few little tears. May our
The floral tribute, such a touching moment. The families included the Lord's Prayer in the service today for your comfort. If you'd like to join in, you're welcome to do so. If for you you'd rather have a quiet moment, have a quiet moment. But if you'd like to join in, Our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. We come together, first and foremost, to be together. And there's something in just being together that's wholesome and healthy and touches us deep down in that space where we're at our sorest. But we also come together for another reason, and that is to farewell and to say, go in peace. We've come to that moment in the service now. For this we always stand in honour and in tribute. So if you're able, would you please be upstanding? Here we have remembered and celebrated the life of Lionel. Celebrated his life in our own. That our own is all the better for ever having had him in it. And there are those who celebrate his gift of life. Now we farewell him with words of go in peace. Enter into your rest. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Go in peace. go in peace. You also go in peace. I leave with you these words of a Celtic blessing from my part of the world. Deep peace of the shining star to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of warm, assuring, comforting love to you. Comforting love to you that you may leave here, even here, in peace. Remembering your dancing days, we leave to the anniversary waltz.
I came from the dream time, from the dusty red soil plains. I am the ancient heart, the keeper of the plain. I stood upon the rocky shores, I watched the tall ships come. For 40,000 years I've been the first Australian. I came upon the prison ship, bowed down by iron chains. I fought the land, endured the lash, and waited for the rains. I'm a settler, I'm a farmer's wife, on a dry and barren run. A convict, then a free man, I became Australian.
I'm the daughter of a digger who sawed the marble old. The girl became a woman on the long and dusty road. I'm a child of the Depression, I saw the good times come. I'm a bushy, I'm a battler, I am Australian. We are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. We'll share a dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian.
I'm a teller of stories, I'm a singer of songs. I am Albert and I'm a Jew, and I paint the ghostly guns. I'm Clancy on his horse, I'm Ned Kelly on the run. I'm the one who waltzed Matilda, I am Australian.
I'm the hot wind from the desert, I'm the black soil of the plains, I'm the mountains and the valleys, I'm the drought and flooding rains. I am the rock, I am the sky, the rivers when they run, the spirit of this great land, I am Australian. We are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. We'll share a dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australian. We are one, but we are many.
We are Australia.